Fox News Alert Secretary of State Marco Rubio says the war in Iran could be over in a matter of weeks, not months.
We have objectives. I told you what those objectives are, and we are very confident that we are on the verge of achieving them very, very soon.
Rubio told G7 allies that this could be wrapped up in 2 to 4 weeks, as the Pentagon's currently considering sending 10,000 more ground troops into the Middle East. And the clock continues to tick for the mullahs. The president says the Iranians are on their knees.
Iran! What's the latest with Iran, sir?
On Iran, they are being decimated. They are talking. We are talking now. They want to make a deal. Very simply, our military is the greatest in the world by far. Iran is being decimated.
It's only going to get worse. Our kamikaze speedboats have just entered the war zone for the first time in the history of combat. These robo-skippers, also known as GARCs, are like remote-controlled jet skis that explode on impact. They're cheaper to make than missiles and have already logged over 2,000 miles in epic fury. And they're targeting Tehran's fleet of high-speed attack boats. The Strait of Hormuz is becoming a testing ground for next-generation warfare. The USS Abraham Lincoln was also pictured just outside of the strait in the Arabian Sea. The warship's nearly the size of the Empire State Building, and it's untouchable.
A very valuable thing that we had floating on the water, namely an aircraft carrier, biggest in the world. And they were shot, 101, going 2,500 miles an hour. And out of the 101 missiles shot, 101 missiles were shot down.
The USS Tripoli is almost in position, and on board, the Marines.
Patriots, I'm at Restored Republic via a GCR update for Saturday, March 28th, 2026, compiled by Judy Byington. Trump strikes final blow to the IRS. Tariffs in, income tax out. Signals return to pre-1913 prosperity and sovereignty. Please say a special prayer tonight for the native Hawaiians of Maui, who for years have suffered silently under U.S. Inc. Illuminati rule. Please always pray for the children. Quote from Albert Einstein, "Weak people revenge, strong people forgive, intelligent people ignore." Judy note, in the last few weeks, the devastating floods that hit the Hawaiian Islands, especially Lahaina, Maui, were believed man-made, just like the so-called wildfires that burned Lahaina, Maui to the ground August 2023. Native Hawaiians pointed out that during the 2 or so weeks of rain and floods, there were unusual V-shaped radar patterns offshore, showing the storms may have originated from ships. The 2023 Maui fires left over 5,000 Native Hawaiians homeless, with close to half still living on the beaches 2.5 years later. Little help has been received from the U.S. Inc. government. Lahaina had nowhere begun to rebuild because of countless red tape of the government that left it vulnerable for mudslides during these past weeks of floods. Why wasn't the U.S. Inc. government helping? Because their ultimate plan was to make Lahaina, the former capital of the Kingdom of Hawaii, a smart city where the U.S. Inc.'s cabal could completely control the population. Wednesday, August 2023, where were Maui's over 2,000 missing children? Link at Before It's News. Friday, August 25th, adults and children burned alive as FEMA Maui cops blocked escape routes before its news. Wednesday, August 23rd, 2023, 2,400 children missing in a Winfrey Gates Zuckerberg CIA child trafficking cover-up before its news. And Monday, August 21st, 2023, over 1,200 Hawaiian children missing. Parents believed murdered by deep state FEMA before its news. Saturday, August 19th, 2023, Hawaii, a war zone. U.S. Marines versus deep state FEMA before its news. Hawaii was obviously a center for the cabal's international child sex trafficking, secret operations, underground tunnels, and black projects, as pointed out in this article. Uncorruptedtruth.com, secret underground bases, tunnels in Hawaii. Many of these underground tunnels under Hawaii are lava tubes and used for satanic rites. Free Masonic orders like the Lions Club know of these underground networks and are often at the helm of the construction of bases within them. Places with underground access to underground networks on Oahu are Queens Medical Center, Board of Water Supply, State Capitol, Hawaii State Library, Liliha Library, Honolulu Police Department, Kaina Point, Schofield Barracks, Kanoa Bay, Hickam Air Force Base, and many more. We know that Oprah Winfrey had houses in Hawaii in which she was trafficking women and children for a baby farm and ritualistic sex and sacrifice cult that she co-ran with a man named John of God. A church in Waipahu was also trafficking Filipino babies for the black market. People have reported to me that Micronesian babies are being trafficked out in Wahine. Other sources are saying the Halekulani tunnels in Makiki are used for human organ harvesting, and perhaps even the military, Child Protective Services, help traffic American girls to China. It seems the lid is boiling over in perfect time for the suspicious public to be biometrically tagged and locked down. How convenient for the federal government and shadow government countries to lock everyone in their houses while the worldwide human trafficking operation leaks to the surface. These stories hardly get any media attention because the media is owned by the same people committing the crimes. It is important to note that this kind of activity has been happening all over Hawaii for a very long time. My grandmother was kidnapped and put on the back of a truck as a child, only to be rescued by her brothers and sisters who chased after the truck. Many victims are trafficked and from Hawaii in shipping containers, private jets, military bases, naval vessels, and the tunnel system. Of course, alien abductions are a great scapegoat and cover for this kind of illegal activity. The underground train is said to travel from Honolulu through Maui and to the Big Island. It then leads to Japan, New Zealand, and California, possibly near Alaska and Seattle. Possibly these tunnels may be adjacent with fiber optic cables that crisscross the Pacific Ocean. When earthquakes are heard and felt across the island chain, it may be the train taking off from the Big Island, heading toward Kauai, causing shock waves. On the Big Island of Hawaii in Koala is a tunnel entrance for elites. The Pohakula Loa training area in Mauna Kea is another subterranean entrance into the tunnel system. Mauna Kea itself is a launching pad for orbital spacecraft and deploys many anti-aircraft weapons, surface-to-space defense weapons. At night, the area on Mauna Kea is pitch black, and a fog machine can easily create a zero visibility drive along the road. No one would ever be aware of incoming or outgoing space traffic. In other news, Friday, March 27th situation update, Byington bombshell report. U.S. Treasury declares U.S. insolvent. Over $41 trillion in debt. Trump activates global currency reset. Before its news, Friday, March 27th, We the People News situation update featuring Restored Republic. The privately owned by the deep state Illuminati cabal, U.S. Inc. government is insolvent. Over $41 trillion in debt. That's the conclusion of the Treasury Department's own 2025 financial statements, released last week to near total media silence. The numbers, $6.06 trillion in total assets against $47.78 trillion in total liabilities as of September 30th, 2025. The private banker corporation has controlled U.S. taxpayer monies since 1913. Drove America into bankruptcy in 2008. Don't forget, this was on purpose because they had the Great Reset, the central bank digital currency system coming in, making the fiat U.S. dollar status official. The plan was to drive America's financial status into the ground so that people would accept a digital currency backed by nothing. Thus, the cabal would have complete control over everyone. They called it the Great Reset. Everything was going as planned for the cabal until along came the BRICS nations accompanied by Trump and the Q plan to save the world. That plan was about to unfold with a worldwide EBS.
Mr. President, I'll give this ball to you, and now the ball is in your court.
Тем более, что США
EBS worldwide activation imminent. Sometime in the next 2 days, every TV, radio, internet worldwide will simultaneously receive the same message in 77 different languages at the same time. 7 trumpets will sound announcing that the world was under temporary martial law. For 72 hours or 3 days, everyone will receive a continuous stream of declassified information. 3 times daily, 8-hour documentaries will be broadcast globally. The real history of the last 100 years and information on all corruption in government, banking, and military. A global lockdown will commence and last 10 to 12 days. Everyone will be asked to stay at home during a specific 5-hour window. During those 5 hours, comprehensive documentaries will air across all nations or stations, providing full disclosure of recent developments, the stolen technology, the financial system that enslaved you, and the crimes committed against humanity by those who claim to protect it. The old world ends with a broadcast. The new world begins as you explain to those around you what has been going on.
It's launching soon, right?
Have to give up things others aren't willing to give up. But here's the truth. The sacrifice is temporary. The results are forever. So trade those cheap pleasures for deep purpose. Trade ease for excellence. Trade average for everything. You can't fake the grind.
Global currency reset on February 20th, 2026. The U.S. Congress and President Trump approved the quantum financial system and the primary financial system for the nation, with global activation including release of Nasara funds set for Wednesday, April 1st, 2026. Thursday, April 2nd, 2026, notification to set appointments. The overwhelming majority of my bond people are telling me that they will be done between now and April 2nd. The overwhelming majority of my groups and banking contacts believe they will go between the 2nd of April and the 15th of April. I don't know the timing, but that is what they are being told. Mark Z on Tuesday, March 24th, 2026. Tuesday, March 24th, Wolvie says the bondholders are receiving notifications. He hopes for Tier 4B notifications today or tomorrow. Payments will start Wednesday, April 1st. We were waiting for ISO 20022 to happen. And it has, and it is working very well, Wolvie says. It has been 100% successful. Lady at a bank called Wolvie, crying, saying that this is the news we've been waiting for. Wolvie cannot say more due to NDAs. In a few days, he will be fully under NDA and will be overseas. Forwarded from Ginger Doucette. Thursday, March 26th, Bruce, the big call. QFS has a node for cryptocurrency. The central banks around the world are buying up gold to back their currencies. 4 different sources say Tier 4B notification could happen on Friday the 27th or 28th of March, which is today. Tier 4B should get started with appointments before the end of the month on Tuesday, March 31st, 2026. Global financial system, Friday, March 27, 2026, bombshell announcement. Trump's dollar, signature, gold, and power for the American people. No more fiat, no more lies. Game over for the globalists, AMG News. Friday, March 27, 2026, boom, 1913, exposed. Trump strikes final blow to the IRS. Tariffs in, income tax out. Trump's signature on the dollar signals a return to pre-1913 prosperity and true sovereignty. Video, AMG News. Friday, March 27th, QFS destroys the central banking system. QFS halts the deep state in its tracks. Global currency reset, trust the plan. Tier 4B, martial law and telegram. The quantum financial system stands as the most decisive force ever introduced against the central banking debt machine, built to release everyday people from a cycle of financial control that has lasted for generations. What once seemed out of reach has been strategically prepared, a parallel monetary framework designed to replace hidden fiat dominance with transparent, asset-backed transactions. This is not speculation or wishful thinking. It is calculated reset aimed at restoring direct control of wealth back into the hands of the people. At its foundation, QFS operates through advanced quantum level verification that cannot be altered, securing every transaction with absolute integrity and traceability. Only currencies backed by real audited assets and supported by digital gold certificates are allowed to circulate within the system. This structure eliminates theft, blocks covert manipulation, and makes unauthorized financial activity impossible to conceal. The principle is clear: a financial system that cannot be quietly manipulated for personal or institutional gain. The legacy system relied on shadow accounting, untraceable flows, and complex shell structures that concealed misuse while penalizing transparency for decades. QFS runs in parallel, exposing inconsistencies in real time and enabling accountability on an unprecedented scale. Once illicit transactions are identified, those responsible can no longer shield themselves behind bureaucracy or delay tactics. The system itself becomes undeniable proof, forming the foundation for action, recovery, and enforcement. The era of invisible control is rapidly closing. This marks a turning point, a structural transformation intended to restore economic balance and human dignity. Implementation requires precision, validation, and time, but the objective is undeniable: to replace artificial scarcity with asset-backed stability, dismantle centralized control mechanisms, and create a pathway toward restitution and broad prosperity. The direction is intentional, and the outcome is rooted in fairness. Stay alert, demand transparency, and prepare for the transition from a system built on debt to one grounded in value. The Genius Act, Guiding and Establishing National Innovation for U.S. Stablecoins Act, passed in 2025, establishes the first comprehensive federal regulatory framework for U.S. payment stablecoins. Effective by January 18, 2027, it mandates one-to-one reserves, strict AML KYC compliance, and limits issuance to authorized entities to enhance financial stability. And there are source links at x.com. Save the Children. Friday, March 27, 2026. A Clinton Foundation-linked pedophile who raped multiple children in an orphanage in Haiti has been sentenced to 210 years in jail. Michael Carl Geilenfeld founded St. Joseph's Home for Boys in Haiti. All roads in child rape lead to the Wicked Witch of Washington. Friday, March 27th, Democrats are trying to legalize pedophilia and sexual acts with children, and their voting record proves it. Just today, every Democrat voted against Ohio bill that criminalized sexually explicit performances in front of children. It passed. But do you see the real agenda yet? Friday, March 27th, U.S. Special Forces raided multiple hidden underground facilities tied to Hillary Clinton in a coordinated White Hat operation overnight. What they found is beyond anything we could have imagined. Live adrenochrome harvesting labs with dozens of rescued victims. Video archives of satanic rituals featuring top elites and world leaders, documents detailing clone politicians replacing real leaders for decades, and the big one, suppressed free energy tech and mind control devices designed to keep humanity enslaved forever. Tier 4B ISO 20022 on Telegram.
Laptop were ever released, the government would fall. Wiener's laptop had kill switches in it. It was filled with crap that wasn't supposed to be there. We never get to see it. Supposedly 9 cops watched the videos on Wiener's laptop. They had to keep leaving the room because they couldn't stand what they were seeing, and all 9 are now dead. And there's names and faces and deadness, right? They're real people. Now you can say, well, maybe they died for other reasons. I go, but it's still 9 cops. You know, it's like the 5 cops who died after January 6th, right? 4 of them were suicides. According to AI, there were about 80 cops really in the thick of things. 4 of them died from suicide.
The Clintons, Hillary's emails, and the Wiener laptop as ultimate life insurance. The deepest darkness is finally coming to light. Patriots, hold on to your seats because the nuclear payload just detonated. Anthony Weiner's laptop wasn't just some pervert's hard drive. It was the life insurance policy that kept the entire Clinton crime syndicate untouchable for decades. That infamous folder labeled life insurance, it contained the real dirt. Thousands upon thousands of emails, videos, and files that expose the full scope of the Clinton Foundation's pay-to-play empire. Child trafficking networks, satanic rituals, and the blood-soaked secrets tying straight to Epstein's Island and the global elite pedophile ring. Back in 2016, when the New York Police Department seized Weiner's devices during his underage sexting probe, they didn't just find Abedin's emails to Hillary. They uncovered a digital vault of horrors. We're talking about classified documents, deleted server backups, evidence of adrenochrome harvesting, ritual abuse footage, and direct links to the Pizzagate nightmare that the fake news buried. The New York Police Department chiefs anonymously screamed that if the FBI and the DOJ didn't act fast on the indictments, they would go public with everything. Comey reopened the email case right before the election to try and contain the blast, but it was too late. The damage was done. Fast forward to now, 2026, the White Hats have full control. Military intelligence has mirrored every byte from that laptop, cross-referenced it with Epstein's Black Book, Ghislaine's flight logs, and the rescued victims' testimonies from underground facilities. The life insurance wasn't protecting Weiner. It was blackmail insurance for the Clintons to keep their puppets in line. Bill and Hillary thought they could murder witnesses, bleach servers, and hammer devices to cover their tracks. But God had other plans. The storm is raging right now. We're talking treason, crimes against humanity, child endangerment on a massive scale, stuff that makes Watergate look like a parking ticket. The laptop held proof of payoffs to silence victims, rigged elections, bioweapon funding through the foundation, and yes, the snuff-level depravity that Q warned us about all those years ago. They laughed when we said, trust the plan. They mocked when we dropped, these people are sick. But the laptop never lied. It's the smoking gun that ties the whole cabal together. Clintons, Obamas, Bushes, Soros puppets, all terrified now because the veil is torn. No more running, no more fake suicides, no more 2 bullets to the back of the head cover stories. We have it all. We caught them all, and nothing can stop what is coming.
Somebody sent it to me. I would not advise you to have a look at it. She and her spokeswoman, they put a 5-year-old girl naked on a table, bind it, and then with a scalpel they start to remove the face. Oh my God. And you hear this child screaming, and they take off the face, and Hillary Clinton puts it on her face and goes to the child. And you see, the child, it's all flesh. And then the eyes, and this child sees her own face on the face of Clinton. I will never forget that image, and never the scream. That's how evil these people are.
What we think we know as of Saturday, March 28, 2026. Friday, March 27th, the COVID pandemic was planned by Bill Gates, Jeffrey Epstein, Dr. Fauci, and the Rothschild family. We have their emails. These are war crimes. They must be arrested. The Schiff on Telegram. Friday, March 27th, victory for parents. Supreme Court strikes down indoctrination. Parents have the right to opt out of LGBTQ plus propaganda in schools. Video, AMG News. The fact that that's even there, that has nothing to do with education. Friday, March 27th, breaking news. First in the world, ivermectin, mebendazole, and fenbendazole protocol for cancer has been peer-reviewed and published. Big Pharma trembles, AMG News. Friday, March 27th, exposed. No more British control. Trump did not blink. The new alliance Britain can't stop. City of London is cornered. Down with the British Empire. Video AMG News. Friday, March 27th. Breaking alert. Gas prices under attack. Trump signs emergency order to release cheaper E15 fuel immediately. AMG News.
Trump saw the tax code crushing family farms and eroding rural economies. So Trump saved the farmer. He saw unfair trade practices, putting farmers at a disadvantage globally. So Trump saved the farmer. He saw burdensome regulations and red tape put a cap on their growth. So Trump saved the farmer. He saw lack of energy, stopping them from pursuing and achieving their version of the American dream. So Trump saved the farmer. He saw previous administrations take them for granted, set them back, and ultimately ignore them. So Trump saved the farmer.
Election fraud. Friday, March 27th, the election fraud that's occurring in the United States is not only a massive national security threat, but it's also connected and happening in 100 plus countries around the world, including places like South Korea, Canada, Australia, Brazil, Ecuador, the Philippines, Republic of Congo, and many more. This needs to be investigated by military intelligence because of this global election fraud cartel's resources, capabilities, and players involved, which leads to a massive criminal conspiracy that can topple and take control of countries around the world and install whatever regimes that they choose. Mr. Poole on Telegram. Friday, March 27th, Fox News. Biden, White House gave order not to enforce fraud allegations happening all over the country. Shocker. The reason they did not investigate any fraud is because they were all involved, stealing taxpayer dollars through front companies and NGOs, and plus getting kickbacks, I'm sure. This is Money Laundering 101. Government fraud. Friday, March 27th, Minnesota Representative Krista Knudsen says they just found out the state turned off tracking for money being sent overseas. They turned it on for 2 weeks, saw all the money leaving, and Democrats quickly shut off tracking to allow it to keep happening. Today in the fraud committee, the Department of Human Services testified that they have not been tracking the IP addresses of money that's being literally flown out of our state and where it's going. They did turn on that reporting for 2 weeks, and they found that yes, a lot of those IP addresses were tied to overseas computers. And then they quickly shut it off after just 2 weeks of seeing where this money's actually going. Every time we turn around, it's just more and more fraud scandals in our state.
Now that we have the fraud task force here inside the United States, what will you guys be doing different than something that we haven't done before to tackle fraud here?
Well, two really big things, Nick. So the first of all is we're going to be coordinating across the government in a way that's really never been done before to focus on anti-fraud. So let's say, for example, that Scott Bessent or somebody at the Secretary of Treasury's office sees a fraudulent payment made, but it's not at the Treasury Department, it's at the Center for Medicare and Medicaid. There's going to be coordination now so that when one person in the government sees fraud happening, they're actually telling everybody else so that we can get to the root of it and hopefully prosecute it. And that leads me to my second point, and maybe the most important, is we've never before within the Department of Justice had a committed anti-fraud task force a committed assistant attorney general who's focused on the fraud issue. What our new AAG focus on fraud has told me that right now we don't even prosecute fraud that's under $1.5 million, which means there's a lot of fraudsters who never get caught, who never get punished. We're changing that too.
So there's people who are making $1.5 million committing fraud, and they used to not be prosecuted. When can we expect to see prosecutions take place, for instance, for example, like the Lears at the Leering Center?
So we just got AAG, our new AAG, confirmed. He hasn't even been sworn in yet. I'll swear him in next week, actually. And look, I think the plan is we got to start doing prosecutions as quickly as possible. These cases take a little while to build. You've got to investigate. You've got to gather evidence. But now that we have that guy set up, now that we have Colin McDonald set up, I think in a matter of months we should be seeing a significant ramp up in the number of prosecutions that we're seeing.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Of course. Good to meet you, man. Thanks for all your hard work.
Thank you.
Yeah, take care.
Let's let the fraudsters lear their lesson the hard way.
Wars, Wars, and Rumors of Wars. Thursday, March 27th, Fox News. Boom, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth just called out the media. These cameras have a choice. You either inform the American people of the truth or you're not here. Here's a fact you don't hear on the networks that we know. Many of the Iranian military factories and bases that we are destroying were paid for by the pallets of American cash that Barack Obama flew into Tehran under the Iran deal. You might call it an inconvenient truth. Iran took our money and turned it into weapons, bunkers, ammo. Now we're destroying the weapons and you are righting the grievous wrongs. Wrong. Make no mistake. We had to act. Objectives clear. No nukes, no Navy, complete dismantling of the missile program and defense industrial base. We're here to win, and we are full speed ahead. And just a side note, to me, when I look at some of the corporate media stories, like from CNN and MSNBC and ABC, they're outright lies when it comes to Iran and what's happening there. You're getting two different stories, complete opposite stories. One from the White House, Pete Hegseth, and people that are in the military, which I trust. And then you've got the cabal-owned mainstream media, and I guess they feel like they have nothing to lose, and they're just outright lying. Thursday, March 27th, Fox News. As per Iranian government request, please let this statement serve to represent that I am pausing the period of energy plant destruction by 10 days to Monday, April 6, 2026 at 8 p.m. 10 days, interesting number, and I think this falls after Easter. 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Talks are ongoing, and despite erroneous statements to the contrary by the fake news media and others, they are going very well. President Donald J. Trump. And just another calm. He said that the Iranians asked for 7 days, but he gave them 10 days, and you add those two numbers, you have 17, and that always says patriots are in control.
following the cascading activities around the planet at the tactical level, operational level, campaign level, and strategic level, and even the grand strategy. And people are having difficulty putting the picture together. That's by design. We know that. That's, of course, the reason. But where we're at right now, and if you could put a title, I guess, on this phase of the operation, this is for the people. And the title would be this: The Price of Failure to Act. The price of failure to act. And the reason I say that is because the people, it's already started now, the alleged reasons, the Straits of Hormuz and the blockage, and then the interference with the flow of oil, therefore the prices have spiked, and we'll talk in detail later. But that is the supposed trigger to all the drama that's going on right now, but that's not it at all. This is the price of the failure to act. All the things that are going on around the planet, and they can be related to Hormuz, they could be related, completely unrelated to Hormuz, but this is what the people now have to experience for not holding their people to their representatives to account, for not keeping an eye on what was going on, for trusting too many people for too long without sticking their nose into somebody else's business and saying, hang on a minute, you didn't promise me this, you didn't promise me that, and why are you delivering it to it? So this is the moment in history where the Australian people, because I can tell you that from personal experience, it's hurting down here, but it's also hurting around the world. And the people are going to start to feel the squeeze. It's going to be painful. It's going to be excruciating. They're going to get very, very angry. And I'm not hoping for this, but I can imagine there's going to be some violence occur. Sporadic, not necessarily organized, but sporadic, geographically dispersed. But people are eventually going to realize what's happened to them, what's been done to them. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but we've been saying this for so many years now. If we don't stand up, it'll be taken from us. We didn't stand up. It has been taken from us. Everything's been taken from us. And the people are about to find that out. Now, this is the key moment for this operation as far as the people are concerned. None of this would have happened had the people stood up, but they didn't. And there's a lot of many reasons for that. They've been demoralized. They've been brainwashed. They've been MK Ultra. They've been poisoned. They've been gassed. You name it, everything. They've been dumbed down. They've been irradiated with 5G. They've been injected with the COVID nonsense. And there's a million reasons why it occurred. But at every point, the people failed to stand up and claim this sovereignty they claim they have, to say, this is my country. I am the source of law. What I say goes. But as we know, if you throw something out in the trash, anybody can come and collect that trash and take it away. That's evidence that you're not interested. And the sad reality is most of the planet, and some are more culpable than others because they don't have a history of personal sovereignty or the rights coming from the people. But those nations that do, we should have stood up, and we didn't. And now we're going to feel the pain. There's nothing that can stop what's coming. We've been saying that a long time. We've been warning for a long time, many years now. Get some gas in your garage. Get some tin food. Get some cash. Buy your precious metals. And get ready to hunker down. For how long? We don't know. All we know is that if it goes for too long, the black hats win, so the white hats won't let it go too long. But the pain you're about to feel, and don't shoot me, I'm just a piano player. The pain we're all about to feel is a result of our complacency, our docility, our imbecility, all of those things. It's on us. We're going to have to pay the price.